Hey guys, it's Corrin with Thompson RV in Pendleton, Oregon. Since I finally had a chance to go out and use my 27 TRX titanium, I did want to give a quick review on how the boys and I liked it. In fact, this is their favorite trailer. Out of all the trailers, campers, fifth wheels that we've used over the years, this was their absolute favorite. I was going to include them in the video so that they could give you some feedback about what their favorite part was, but it ended up just a lot like this. Okay, are we ready this time?
It does look.
And a lot like this.
No!
Oh, you're like. So I decided to film the video by myself because they just couldn't stop giggling. So I will tell you what the boys absolutely loved about this 27 TRX. So first and foremost, they absolutely love the patio. I should probably take a video of them because they can get the patio up or down in about a minute and a half flat. So they've gotten really good at it. It's very simple to use. In fact, we have a video on how the back patio operates. Casey Bonner did that video. I can link it in the description down below. But they absolutely love the patio. So when we went to the Oregon coast, we took our dirt bikes down to Florence, Oregon. It was their first time riding on the beach. And they had an absolute blast. And it had been over 20 years since I had been. So it was really fun to go back and not just go back by myself, but go back with my three boys. So that was super, super fun. We had an absolute blast. They also love the fuel station. So even at home, having 40 gallons of fuel, the little guys, they're so small that they have a hard time with the big race fuel cans to fill up their bikes. So having a fuel station on board this toy hauler, they can pull up at home and just fill up their bikes, just like they did when we were down in Florence, Oregon. So they loved having the fuel station. I also had a customer the other day that pointed out that he purposely bought a gas engine F350 because he wanted to have the 40 gallons of extra fuel for when he was traveling. So if he ever got in a pinch, he wouldn't need diesel. He can actually just fuel it up with the fuel that is in the toy hauler. The other cool thing that I love about that is it goes directly to the generator. So rather than worrying about how much propane you have left, you just don't even have to worry about it. 40 gallons of fuel is going to get you a long time of running the generator, even in the hottest weather, all through the summer. It's going to take a long time to use up 40 gallons of fuel. The other thing that my boys really love about this floor plan was the bunk beds. So I have crammed them into Wolf Creek campers, Arctic Fox campers. I have crammed them into little 21 footers. The 20BD, we took a 20BD one year to Utah. They had to all three sleep on the dinette, so that was a tight squeeze. They were littler then, but that was a tight squeeze. Sleeper sofas is typically what they're going to be on. So having their own queen beds, they were over the moon. They thought that was like the coolest thing. So they really, like everything about the toy hauler, they absolutely loved. So now let's talk about what I love about it. I had somebody just email me today, asked me if when I switched to a 27 TRX, if I missed the slide outs. I didn't. I have to say though, that many of you, if you've seen most of my videos, you know that not only do I use the Outdoors RV product, I very often take a truck camper. So when I take a truck camper, especially like a little Wolf Creek, which I'm actually taking one out this weekend to go mountain biking in Idaho, when I take a truck camper, that's as small as you can get, right? So I don't mind cramming into something small. As long as I'm getting out and going camping, I'm having a blast. So I am not overly picky. But then I've used everything all the way up to the Glacier Peak fifth wheels, which I also absolutely love. I'm taking one of those to the Outdoors RV camp out here in 2 weeks. So I have the luxury of using everything and really seeing what I like the best. I can't say that I like any one floor plan more than the other, if I'm being totally honest. The 27 TRX was absolutely perfect for taking our bikes and going somewhere. So if you're a person that has kayaks, blow up, the little belly boats for fly fishing, if you have something you need to pack, a toy hauler is absolutely perfect, right? Going to the beach, we couldn't have done it any other way. There's no way for us to really haul that many bikes and take a nice big trailer or fifth wheel. I suppose we could have hauled behind a camper, but this is what we chose to do that trip, and it was absolutely perfect. What I loved about the 27 TRX was the things that I already named. So the boys have the bed. I love that the bunk beds go up though. So rather than buying a bunk bed model where I'm taking up a certain corner of my trailer on bunk beds, having them move up and out of the way so that we can all sit around and watch a movie at night, I really liked that feature, right? I also loved the fact that it has a private bedroom. So compared to say the 24 TRX that I had way back in 2020, I liked having the private bedroom. It just gives me a little bit more privacy to have a bedroom door to where I can go in and change my clothes, or if I want to take a break and take a nap, I have a little bit more privacy. I also love the Jack and Jill style bathroom on the 27 TRX because then I can access the bathroom when the boys are in the living room without bugging them, and they can access from the other door and use the bathroom like if I am in sleeping. But I'm really, really, really over the moon that they did the titanium series. It would be hard for me to go from a titanium anything, whether it's a 19 MKS or a Glacier Peak fifth wheel, and go back to just a standard toy hauler because I'm so used to the titanium features. Even, I know I say it all the time, the mattress, the reading lights, but even just the cabinetry, all of it. I love the titanium. So the fact that Outdoors RV finally did do a titanium TRX model, that's a feature that I absolutely love. But all in all, I would say that the 27 TRX is probably going to be one of the rigs we're going to use the most from now on, at least until we're no longer riding dirt bikes or the boys are grown. Because as they get bigger, it does make it a little harder to use the smaller trailers. And in order to pack all of our bikes, in order to have the bunk beds, and then I get my titanium series, plus when we've got it parked at home, we have the fuel station for them to fill up their snowmobiles, dirt bikes, all the things. This is probably going to be our keeper for a long time. Unfortunately, I did have to sell mine this year because we ran out. It's been so wildly popular that we sold out of 27 TRXs. So the bonus to me being at Thompson RV is that I get to use whatever, but the downside is as soon as we run out of something, there goes my trailer. So this one is officially sold and it is going, actually it's shipping, I think back to Tennessee. Another thing that I do love about this toy hauler that I was actually pleasantly surprised to was the tow. So we recommend Equalizer hitches with everything. They are hands down the best hitch made in America, but I just noticed that I was a little bit nervous towing this long of a trailer. So this is longer than I would normally go without going to a fifth wheel. And the toy haulers are a bit heavy. As most of you know, the tongue weight on a toy hauler is pretty heavy. So I was a little bit nervous to see how it would tow. It towed like an absolute dream. So we had to go all the way down the gorge and all the way to the beach. So I towed about 6-7 hours and it was absolutely perfect. It didn't tow any different than one of the smaller trailers or even my fifth wheels. So I was very pleasantly surprised with the tow on the 27 TRX. The only downside that I can see to the 27 TRX, it may just be me, but you might end up bringing home more toys than you left with. So when we got down to the beach, one of the dirt bikes would not run properly and we couldn't find anybody there to fix it. So we may have ended up with a kid's razor, which ended up being the highlight of the trip. But yeah, so that's the only downside, is that you may end up packing more in here on your way home than you did on your way there. So thank you so much for watching our video. If you have any questions on the toy haulers, any of the Outdoors RV products, or even the Northwood truck campers, just give us a call here at Thompson RV.